This is Shelf Space. They say to truly know a person, you should walk a mile in their shoes. But as I've been building this podcast, I've realized that to truly know the grocery store, I also have to walk the aisles with a chef. This bonus episode of Shelf Space is our first ever aisle moonwalk, or at least that's what I'm calling it for now. It's an on-location series where we trade the Zoom room for a grocery basket. I'm building this format out loud and beta testing the concept with this first snippet, so I would love to hear your feedback. I'm at Fresh Street Market in Vancouver with the renowned chef Vikram Vij, legendary restaurant owner, TV personality, and celebrated author. Now, a fair warning here, this is a short one. I had to battle a loud HVAC system and a few beta test technical hurdles were there, so after all the edits, we barely made it out of the produce section. But even in this quick recording, Vikram's take on the interplay between farming and manufacturing and dining and retail is pure gold. It's a candid chat that even includes a fight about asparagus. This bonus episode is brought to you by Benchmark 60. They are operational consultants who use data-driven strategies to help food service businesses optimize labor productivity and protect profit margins. Okay, here's my conversation with Vikram. So my first question for you is, if you could look to the future, what's one innovation that you would love to see in the grocery store?
I think my biggest thing would be is not have aisles that say South Asian foods, Mexican foods. I would love to see food, doesn't matter where it's produced from and where it comes from, because at the end of the day, the world is the village where the produce is grown. And so rather than saying this is ethnic aisle or this is an Asian aisle, I would love to say these are spices that come from this part of the world. So they're all one, not separate.
Yeah, it's an oversimplification, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's like I want people to be more aware of the product. So if it says Ras Al Hanout spice, even if you don't know it, you should be able to read it, and it shouldn't be like, oh, this is in the ethnic section or in the section where the Arabs buy this spice. It's not. Everybody should be eating those spices. The way we have gotten used to eating basil and Italian parsley and things like that, I think it's important for us to focus on global foods.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so how do you pick a good melon, my friend? My dad taps it. I think he pushes it. Maybe he rolls it down the aisle.
Well, so for example, if you're looking at this watermelon, right, you would pick it up and you would just tap it and see, and you would smell it a little bit and see what it smells like. And you know that this is ripe because you can hear the water in there. If it was an unripe watermelon, it would be so tight because it doesn't have the moisture in it. So, we grew up in India, going to the roadsides and looking at the tomatoes and looking at the onions and looking at the oranges. And at that time, you see these beautiful tags of individual ones, like Blue Jay Navel, for example. That didn't happen in our times. It was like a tomato, and you picked up the tomato and you picked up the oranges and I want this, I want that. You didn't have these tags, and I think that's what just happened. The amount of labor that goes into putting these tags on, the production of the tags, the codes on top of them for an individual apple is to me a little bit like, okay, it makes sense to the grocery stores, but it's a lot of labor that goes in. The cost of that apple goes up because somebody physically has to label the apple individually.
And we're here in the produce aisle. This is where chefs live and breathe, right? This is probably a starting point often for recipe development. What is it about the challenge between, organic quality and organic prices versus not? How do you wrestle with the different levels of ingredients and quality?
Well, as chefs, you want to go for the producer who produced it. So there could be a producer who produces sustainable food completely and doesn't have the certification or doesn't need the certification. Or there could be companies that have the certification, but they may not be using That's sustainable practices. So I think it's more about the fact where it comes from. So when I look at an apple, for example, and if it says Creston, BC, it automatically, the juices start flowing in my head to say, Creston, BC, my backyard, I know my farmers, they probably are really good, doing a great job of these apples. I'm going to buy those. If it says Chile, I don't know what they're doing in Chile, for example, or South America or anywhere else. So I think the backyard is what is very important to me personally. When it says tomatoes grown on vine in Surrey, BC, I know more 99% that it's good practices of farming that's are happening there.
Makes sense.
So I think it doesn't have to be just organic or non-organic. I think it has to be more, where does it come from, to know this. And I think that's why a lot of these supply chains are very focused on showcasing where that meat came from. Where did it come from? Like, for example, alpaca, for example, that I use at the restaurant, the alpaca biryani that I make. You can ask me where it comes from, and I can tell you exactly where it came from. So there are a lot of things. I don't think it has to be just labeled organic or non-organic. I think a lot of it has to be, where did it come from? So if I look at these mandarins and it says, oh, these clementines are from California. Great. Okay. I know they have good practices. I'll buy these. They'll be sweet. So I think everybody makes their own choice or difference.
Yeah. Most overrated vegetable?
Most overrated.
And you tell me yours and I'll tell you mine.
Most overrated vegetable. I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's an overrated vegetable. I mean, a vegetable grows in nature and it's beautiful. And
I'm going to give you my bias.
Which one?
Asparagus.
Asparagus.
I feel like asparagus has run its course.
Why? Asparagus is beautiful. Like if you grill it in the winter, in the summertime,
maybe
and you put little cheese.
I've had more unremarkable asparagus than any other vegetable.
I can see asparagus being overused in French restaurants where they just like throw the asparagus on top just to make it look like as if it's expensive.
Like an oversized garnish?
Yes, an oversized garnish. But I personally like asparagus. I love the asparagus, eating that with salt and pepper and a little cheese or some butter on top of it. It does have a good flavor to it, I think.
And what about spices? Do you have your own heat meter? Everyone's like 1 chili, 3 chilies, extra hot, mild. How do you sort of navigate the spice continuum?
So when you look at the spice aisle, for example, especially here at Fresh Street Market, where we are shopping right now, the area is not defined as any particular spices. So you go through the spices and you look at this and you say, oh, okay, there's a tikka masala here. There's a korma sauce here. There's a vindaloo sauce here, and there's a tandoori marinade here. And this is local. And you just buy it and you have to try it in order for you to know where you're coming from. So
for example, the server in a restaurant will say, well, how hot do you like it? And we don't necessarily know what they mean. When they say mild, do they mean mild for them? Do they mean mild for us?
And I think that's the issue that I have. That's why at Vij's, we never ask you, do you want it mild, medium, or hot? Why? Because each dish should be represented for what it is. So if you're going to make a vindaloo, you can't make a vindaloo that's mild. If you're going to make a butter chicken, you can't make butter chicken that is super hot, because it defeats the purpose. The idea of the butter chicken and the source of the butter chicken was meant to be flavorfully spicy, but by the time you're finished, you have a little sweat on your forehead. It was never meant to be overly spicy, And so the idea behind those dishes, so I think when you ask mild, medium, or hot, it defeats the purpose. I think a chef should know how hot he wants it, how well he wants it, and what the dish should represent. And I think that's the important part.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Shelf Space. If you like what you hear, I would be eternally grateful for a 5-star rating and a quick share on social. Your support means the world to me and our partners, Fasken, TD, Rima, Pacific Coast Distribution, Picnic Creative, and Benchmark 60. For bonus content and resources from our sponsors, go to shelfspacepodcast.com. I'm Corwin Hebert. I'm glad we're on this rocket ship together. I'll see you in the future.